Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Today, I want to conclude our discussion on the 12 indicators of emotionally mature leaders by discussing the 12th and final step. And that 12th and final step is understanding the power of my leadership. I strive to consistently grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity, and to be a calm, non-anxious leader. Stick around as we unbox your leadership by unboxing your relationships. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. All right. Welcome again. So glad to have each and every last one of you here today. Before we get started, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's right. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you're listening to us on our podcast, please make sure that you visit the website. It's www.swg-unboxed.org. That's www.swg-unboxed.org. All right, before we conclude this powerful series on emotional maturity as a leader, let's recap the 12 indicators of emotional maturity. But this time I'm going to present it kind of in a 12-step fashion. And I told you one of the things that we are doing with Unboxed is we are developing a support system for leaders. And so every good support system ought to have a 12-step program. If it works for Alcoholics Anonymous, it can definitely work for leaders. So I'm going to share with you our 12-step program based off of the principles and the indicators that we've been discussing these past few times together. And here we are. Number one, I acknowledge that I am responsible for self and how I function in relationships. I take responsibility for my own emotional well-being and destiny. Number three, I acknowledge that my emotional maturity and functioning is not dependent on the actions of others or my ability to save them. Number four, I diligently research my family to better understand how I was pre-programmed to function in relationships and as a leader. Step number five, I establish meaningful one-to-one contact with emotionally significant members of my relationship systems. Number six, I maintain one-to-one relationships without secrets or triangling in other people or things to help manage interpersonal difficulties. Step number seven, I observe relationship processes and symptoms rather than thinking cause and effect and blaming others. Step number eight, I recognize the part that I play in the relationship dynamics and admit and take responsibility for my part. Step nine, I develop well thought out beliefs and principles and live my life according to these beliefs and principles. Step number 10, I share my thoughts and beliefs and hear others without becoming defensive or argumentative. Step number 11, I make every effort to focus on self and stay on course when others sabotage my efforts. And step number 12, understanding the power of my leadership, I strive to consistently grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity, and to be a calm, non-anxious leader. All right, then with that being said, let's focus on step number 12. Understanding the power of my leadership. I strive to consistently grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity, and to be a calm, non-anxious leader. The reason I went through all 12 of the steps is because leadership and emotional maturity is a growth process with multiple components. However, if I were to summarize it into one statement, it would be this: focus on self, or be self-focused. Focus on self. One of the major challenges of leadership is that we are paid to ensure that others do their job and that projects are completed and that goals are met. This naturally leads to the focus on others, what others are doing, how well they're doing it, making sure that others are productive. However, as we learned in the Serenity Prayer 2.0, it tells us very simply, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept that I cannot change others, the courage to change the only person I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The Serenity Prayer tells us that the only one that we can change is ourselves. All right, let's look at step number 12. Understanding the power of my leadership, I strive to consistently grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity, and to be a calm, non-anxious leader. First of all, understanding the power of my leadership. Remember, you are a leader, and the person with the most power, whether that power was given to you from a position or whether it was just given to you by merits of your work, you have power. And not the kind of power to lord over people, but in other words, you have the power to set your own destiny, to be the person that you want to be, to live life according to your guidelines, your principles. I think often about great men like Martin Luther King. I think about entertainers and politicians today who make so many compromises. I think about how Malcolm X was approached by the FBI and they told him, hey, listen, we want you to inform on other civil rights leaders. And he said, I cannot do it. I think about how Martin Luther King was threatened that we'll expose you, we'll attack your family, we'll get your people that you love if you don't cooperate. And he said, you know what? There's something bigger than me. And we have to think to ourselves about our principles and what it is that we are willing to live for. And as I told you before, what is the leader willing to die for? You have power. You are a leader. If you're an executive director, if you're a pastor, if you are part of the C-suite, CFO, COO, whatever it may be, CFO, it doesn't make a difference. You are a leader. And as a leader, this is the last one, understanding the power of my leadership, I strive to consistently grow. There's never a point in a leader's life when he or she can say, I have arrived, I have achieved, I have no more growth to make. A leader, and this is what separates the great from the ordinary. And that is, great leaders are always seeking to go to the next level in their own life. Because if they go to the next level in their own lives, just by pure nature, the organization will go to the next level. And so I strive to constantly grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity. I can't determine how someone else is going to respond when a project deadline is due, or how someone else is going to respond when I have to make certain tough calls and decisions. But what I can determine is how I am going to respond, how I'm going to react. I cannot control anyone else's emotions or actions, but I have complete control over my own emotional reactivity. So understanding the power of my leadership, I strive to consistently grow, to regulate my emotional reactivity, and to be a calm, non-anxious leader. If you want to remove the stress, the anxiety, the tension, the worry from your organization, the first and most important thing to do is to work to remove it from yourself. If you want to remove the conflict and the bickering and the competitiveness that may and the backstabbing and the gossiping that may be prevailing within your organization, first work to remove it from within yourself. You are a great leader. If there's nothing else that we have talked about when we've gone through these 12 steps, you are a great leader, and you will be even greater. You will unbox your leadership by unboxing relationships. Take care.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.